What we have today is we got a problem with EJ elevator jams. Sorry it's going to be kind of loud. We got everybody bowling around us. Bunch of kids in today. So we're going to do some diagnostic on it, trace down what could be the issue. First thing we'll do is we'll look in the back of the elevator here and see if anything's jammed in the elevator. Alright, so I have the elevator open in the back. I can see I got my shovel at the bottom is not flipped. It's in the right position. I have no pins jammed under there. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can rotate the belt a little manually. The machine is off right now. I'm not working with it on. The machine next to me is active though. I'm just going to pull this belt. Yeah, everything appears to be moving fine. I'm going to rotate the transport band with my foot. Yeah, nothing's sticking that way. So now we'll go up front. The elevator and the transport band are all driven by the distributor motor. So we're going to climb up to the front and we're going to check out the distributor motor and its pulley. We're at the front section up here with the distributor motor. All the pulleys and the belts, the V-belts, they're all connected here. No damage on the inside. Everything appears to be fine on the inside. No extra shredding or rust pieces or little metal shavings. I also checked my bearing assembly on the outside here. The bearing assembly is not corroded. There's no oxidization. It doesn't look like it has gone downhill. So that area is fine. Next place you need to check out, we're going to look at our regular main Nexgen PCB. I've got all 11 of my green lights. Got them going down. I got 4 on this side, and I've got my 5 over here and 2. So we're all good on our green light. The next thing we're going to do is we need to check our fuses on the bottom down here, just to make sure no ceramic fuses have gone out on the inside here. There you can see them back behind there. In the center of the screen. So I'm going to power it down over here on this side. I'm going to do my lockout. So I just locked out the power. Now I need to disconnect the main power cable because it can still light you up even though you shut down the emergency cutoff. So that is disassembled. And then we're going to extract some fuses. Not really for certain that they actually drive it, it's just something I check. If I had the Nexgen book out, it probably says they don't even do anything with it, but I can check the fuses quicker than I can go grab the book. Alright, I thought about it for a second before I even pull them out and test it. I traced my distributor. The terminal for my distributor is up here. It's actually in the center of the light right now. And I traced it down and followed where its wires go is what I did. And then I thought about it. I read under these fuses, they say they're reversing fuses. Well, the distributor motor is the only one out of these motors that doesn't reverse and go the opposite way. The distributor motor just always runs one direction. So, in my my opinion, it would be a waste of my time to pull those out because those are reversing fuses. Obviously, they go to the table motor and the sweep motor, which would be the only one I believe that need reversing. But then again, the sweep motor itself, as I recall, it only goes one direction anyway, as well. But I guess just out of good practice, I'll still extract these fuses and we'll test them out. Remember, the main power is disconnected over here. Yeah, I'm getting a signal across that fuse, so that one's good. I mean, why not? Take me 2 seconds to test it. And I'm getting signal across that. Alright, so our fuses are good. Now we need to do a little bit more diagnostics. We're going to see if we can make the problem follow itself or move around the system. So obviously we're down to a distributor motor just not functioning. With everything else it's right. So I've got my distributor connection. It's going to be over here. This is a good one on the odd lane. Since I know it's a known good, I'm just going to go ahead and disconnect that motor. I'm going to bring that harness around, or this cable around to the opposite side, to the trouble lane. And over here at P25, I'm disconnecting this one, because this is what would be a bad one. And I'm going to hook up the good side on it, first of all. Because we're trying to trace down whether it's the motor or it's the Nexgen. Alright, so now I have the motor, the motor from the odd lane hooked up over here on this side. I'm going to switch I'm going to reconnect all the power to the Nexgen. Go ahead and power up my lockout. We're going to let it boot up. I'm going to put it into motor mode. And I'm just going to try and run just the distributor motor. Alright, everything should be back up. We're going to cut it down. Scrolling through the options. Probably can't see it, but it says motor right now. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my switch back on. It's on table clockwise, so I'm going to switch the modes. Now I'm on distributor. I'm going to hit the arrow down button, and hopefully this motor over here should start working. And as you can see, it's driving, so that tells me that the Nexgen box has no problem. We're narrowing it down to it's strictly a motor issue. Alright, now that I have it narrowed down to it's going to be a motor issue, we're going to go ahead and cut everything back off up top. We're going to cut off the power lockout. We're going to disconnect the main power again. And we're going to go ahead and remove the distributor motor and put it back on the side that it belongs on, the odd lane. Tuck my wires back in. Alright. Reconnect the 6-pin motor, distributor motor, terminal. We're going to power everything back up. Just to check, I want to feel that motor, that 6-pin motor, now that I know that that's definitely what it's got to be. The lockout is back on. Second, boot up. Alright, so my motor is back on. I'm going to switch it up. Back in the table clockwise, so I'm switching my mode. The mode button right here. It's on the wrong lane. Need to hit enter to switch it over. Now I'm going to change my mode. I'm on the distributor. Go ahead and take the belt off the distributor motor just to see if it'll move freely. Sorry I skipped that step with you, but I needed 2 hands for a second. I'm going to reach over and I'm going to run the motor button, the arrow button, which should start it to operate. Alright, it wiggled back and forth for a split second and then it stopped. The wheel is not seized up in the motor, but obviously there's an issue with this motor, so I got to back up. We'll swap that out and then I'll take this in the shop, see if I can diagnose anything more on it. So I just finished testing that motor on the lane 14 on the even side of the lane. So now that I know it's that motor, we need to power it down. I don't want to mess with any wires if anything's still connected. We're going to come over here to our emergency cutoff, lockout. We're going to undo the actual power connection here, main power. So you can switch out this distributor motor in one of two ways. There is a cable that's already connected to it. See it right here. Either you can leave that cable on and you can reroute the cable through all the mess and zip ties and everything. Or you can do what I'm going to do. I'm going to open the box up from the top. I'm going to disconnect the terminals from inside, extract the wire, and just hook up the other motor same way, drop it right back in, and just not have to mess with it. So it's kind of a battle both ways. It just depends on what you think in your head is the easiest way for you to swap it out. So we're going to get in this housing. Alright, I can already probably give a good diagnosis as to what it is. See a lot of the wires in there already burned out. Probably can't tell, just too bright of a light. But yeah, I got a lot of scorch marks up inside this motor. This thing's shot. That means I'm not gonna get the luxury of just disconnecting the wires. I'm gonna have to take the entire thing, the entire harness out as well, because they're obviously shot and compromised. So we're gonna do this a different route. We're gonna go ahead and take the entire harness out, take off this channel on the top, and just reroute the whole thing straight and over. Let's go ahead and start from the harness side and just work our way towards the motor. We'll go ahead and disconnect the terminal here on the end, P25. Cover off here as well. Got some zip ties to cut. Don't cut your lines. See if I can narrow it down a little bit and pull this top strip out. This one all the way down. I got lucky. It looks like it's not zip tied underneath. Now, I'm not going to tug it hard. I don't want to mess up any other wires coming through, so I'm going to have to try and feed it with my other hand. can always salvage this wire, trace it back to where it's not burnt or scorched on the insulation, trim it, put some new terminals on the end of it, so the wire wouldn't really be bad. What could come down to an issue is the actual connections up inside the motor housing. Back up top here. I'm going to go ahead and pull all this cable through. Now we just got to work on getting the motor off. Go ahead and take the spring off the back of the motor. I don't want to drop it down on the lanes anywhere. For the most part, it's got enough tension on there. I don't believe it will fall off, so I'll just let it free hang. Now it's time to get the entire motor out. It'll still be on its shaft and its plate, but we're going to take the whole entire motor out and then we'll swap it out. Got my Allen wrench set. I'm going to go ahead and take the guard off. Show you the clip I got to remove to pull out the whole motor. Got it dead center in the image. It's actually right here. It's on the other side of this bushing, but I'm going to show you. We're going to go ahead and take it off. Just so you know where I'm at, I'm coming in from the front of the machine. That's between the both walkways. So you come around to this side. This is the shaft that holds that motor on. There's a small clip just right underneath here. It's probably one of the easiest clips to remove on these pin setters, unlike the E-clips on the lane. So you can rotate it around and bring it to the top if you'd like to make it easier to extract. I just got some pliers on it. I'm just going to lift up. You can see the clip. Like I said, one of the most simple ones to extract and install. It's got a nice thumb tab for you to press it down with. There's going to be a washer on this side. You want to go ahead and take that washer off so you don't lose it in the lane. There's a bushing in the hole. The bushing generally will stay put, so you don't have to worry about getting that bushing out of there. Back up on the inside, just going to grab the motor, kind of lift up on the housing of it and slide it to the lower right hand corner of your screen basically to pull this entire shaft. This straight shaft, you can see it goes all the way through. That shaft's got to come out with the motor. Now I did drop an inside washer. I expected it to stay on the shaft, but it didn't, but it did go into my catch pan. So the motor's out. Now we just got to switch everything out for it and connect it up. We're going to go ahead and take off the pulley wheel off of it. I've got a 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench. So we're going to go ahead and break that free and go ahead and get that off of the system. You don't have to extract the total screw. You don't want to lose it. Figure I better get you over top as much as I can so you can see what's actually going down here. You also have a key pin right here in your motor. Don't lose that. You're going to need that to put in the next one. I'm going to go ahead and pull that key pin out now if I can. Doesn't seem to be doing it with my multipliers. I'm going to get some vice grips. Don't want to lose that. You want to unlock your vice grips and watch you don't butcher it by clamping on it too hard and prying on it. Next step is just to get this motor straight off of the housing. I'm going to try and save a few steps here. I'm just going to break these free real quick. Causing me the pain is this. I should have not undone the top one first, but we're just going to get it out of the way. That's my time-saving step, is trying to just use that drill. Now that it's out of the way, I can probably get to this bottom one a little bit simpler. Or easier. See if I can break it free. So my time-saving step is actually just using the drill to get them out. That's the plate off, and now we're going to get the new motor over here and get it situated and put it back together. Now, this is a little different setup on a motor, and it's already got its key in it, so I'm lucky. But that the same motor serves the same purpose, distributor motor, but it's just the orientation is different on where the power connection and the terminals are. All right, so we're going to go ahead and establish the plate. And take notice when you're putting it back together. There is one different size bolt out of everything. It's larger than the other one. The larger one, you're going to utilize it on the actual retention spring, because this is actually wider here on this part when you stack it together on the plate. So the longer one, there's already a washer there, so I'm just going to take this washer off. Right here. I guess there's a little fresh paint on this motor when they painted it, because all the washers are staying on it, so I just got to put my bolts back on. There's washers in the place. And just as I had struggles earlier with the tension spring mount, I'm not going to mess with it this time. I'm going to put it in at the very end. Got the drill boosted all the way up. Hopefully it'll do most of the work here. These are 10mm lock nuts and bolts. Now that everything's together, I'll go ahead and put the tension spring bracket back on. I'll get it close to tight, and then I'll need to get this adjusted as much as a 90-degree or straight with the plate as possible. What I did is basically square the edge up here. Alright, that feels parallel with it. We're going to go ahead and put our pulley wheel back on. Got to line up the notch in the pulley wheel with this Allen key, or not Allen key, I'm sorry, just the key pin. The key pin's right here. So I'm going to put the keyhole that direction to the left side of your screen. Slides right on. When I took it off, it was flush with the edge of that shaft. I'm going to maintain that, try to see if I got to do it any differently. I'm going to finger tighten it up as much as I can, and then I'll use the ratchet. Not too tight. You don't want to break off your tip in there. It's a pretty small tip, and you don't want to strip the threads out. Just enough to secure it so you know it's going to stay there. That key pin's going to keep it from slipping. If you recall, I dropped a washer earlier in the catch pan. I already got it. I have it back in my hands. I'm just going to go ahead and slide it right back down on the shaft, so whenever I put it on, it's taken care of already. When you're putting it back in, just use a little caution. You don't have to worry about this plastic bushing so much, but this inner one, watch whenever you're sliding it in that you don't just shove that out on the other side. Then you got to climb down the lane and pick it back up. Problem I'm having is with the clip not on the other side, the motor is just wanting to slide right back out. It's got the weight of itself just pushing, fighting against me. So I'm going to put the motor back in from this side, push this bushing back in, or from the other side, and then I'm going to clip it on this side and put the washer and the retaining clip back on it. So when I put it on, I'm just going to push down. There we go, motor should be secure. Now it's just playing the zip tie disconnection and rerouting the harness game. Pass it through the top. Try and get all the kinks out of the line. We're going to put it back in the track. Go ahead and route the wire back through this channel and secure it. Throw a couple before I zip tie it, I'm going to go ahead and run it because we're going to go ahead and do more quick connections. I'd hate to get this thing put all back together and find out it's still bad. So we're going to go ahead and just go ahead and connect this distributor cable up. I'm just looking in this to see one pin's way sticking out up front. Hope that doesn't affect anything. We're going to connect it up. I'm going to power it up. I'm going to end up putting the belt back on the distributor motor and see what happens here. Connecting my main power. Turning on my lockout. While it's going through the boot up sequence, I'm going to go ahead and attach that distributor belt. So we need to reattach the tension spring. Easy enough. And now we'll put the belt back on. Okay, I don't like stretching that spring so much, so I'm going to pull the belt off of my black wheel, put it around the pulley first, and then I'll feed it across the black wheel. I'd stick my fingers through this cover plate a little bit just to get it on. It's fighting me though. Alright, so we've got it on. I'm going to put it in the motor mode. We're going to see if this puppy spins. I'm in distributor mode. And we are active again. I got a bowling pin right here. Everything's good. Looks like it's just that bad burnt out motor. I'm going to have to order a whole new one because it is, I looked at it inside. I can't fix the terminals, and where the terminals connect to the interior housing, the insulation's burned out. There's like a hard plastic housing where the six screws are that tie all the terminals and the wires together. It's just shot. So it'll be a new distributor motor purchase. Okay, I'm going to zip tie everything back by myself. Put on all my snap covers as well by myself. Hopefully you should understand how to cover that. I sure hope this training video has helped you out in